Hi, welcome to the Visionista podcast. I'm your host, Jessica East of Nor Marketing and PR. This podcast is for entrepreneurs where we talk about business and work-life balance. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Visionista podcast. I am the Visionista, Jessica East, and I am here with a very special guest, Miss Sarah, who is the best therapist on the planet.
Thanks.
Actually, this is Sarah's second visit to our podcast, and, not to give her a big head going in or anything, but the previous podcast is the most popular podcast that we have. This is now our 16th episode, so kudos to you.
Thanks.
If people missed that first podcast, you want to go over briefly, like, who you are and where you practice and how people can get in touch with you?
Sure. My name is Sarah Blackledge, and I am a private practice therapist. I work out of Tip City, and I mainly see teenagers and adults and also work with couples. If you want to get a hold of me, the best way would be to go through Psychology Today. That's a website, and then just search my name, and my profile will come up and my contact information.
Mm-hmm. And I will also put a link to that at the bottom of the info for this podcast as well. So you are still doing in-person meetings right now, and then you also do telehealth.
Yes.
So if you are slightly out of the area but still in Ohio, Sarah can help you with telehealth. And then if you are in the area but maybe a little concerned about leaving the house for whatever reason, COVID, she can still help you with telehealth sessions.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, cool. So if Sarah is somebody that you think you should connect with to help you out with some things, check out the links at the bottom. I want to jump right in today because I know we're kind of pressed for time. Today's topic, I wanted to talk about working with difficult people. And this, I think, can apply not just to work relationships, but also family relationships, personal relationships, neighbors. I mean, how many difficult people do we come across on a weekly basis?
Right.
There's quite a few. So, do you have tips for working through problems? Because we have tasks that we have to accomplish. Sometimes we have a job that we can't leave, or this person's in our family, or they're our neighbor, and we can't leave. We can't make them leave. We have to live peaceably together at the bare minimum. But sometimes we actually have to work with them to accomplish a task or to reach a goal for someone. How do you approach that with someone who just really is hard to work with?
Sure. Well, I guess it also just depends on situation. So if you are, at work and you come across somebody and it's your first encounter with them and they were pretty difficult to work with, or, you are out, maybe like you, Jessica, you meet with somebody you've never met with them before, you're trying to get some work accomplished and they're kind of coming off in a prickly way. Things can range from that, just one encounter, to like you're pointing out, this person's in my life.
Yeah.
And so some basics even with that is I first want to understand the other person.
Like why they're being difficult.
Right. So initially you're feeling all of your feelings. You're feeling frustrated, angry,
annoyed.
Really annoyed, and you're just kind of
really
feeling,
annoyed.
Yeah, I mean, you're sensing that this is not a person that I'm comfortable with for whatever reason. And it's easy to focus on those feelings and how you can feel better. But before we do that, I would really ask you to think about what's going on with this other person. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Because they might just be having a bad day. If it's a one-off, you had an antidote last time we talked about a barista and a drive-through. Maybe the person just had a bad day because they're running late, their caffeine hasn't kicked in, but you kind of need to determine that.
And that's where I was going to, like, really kind of thinking about who am I talking to?
Mhm.
And giving them the benefit of the doubt that I don't know what's going on in their personal life. And in a
Mhm.
business sense, that's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay that their
Yeah.
personal life stays just that. But when people are coming in and out of your lives, in and out of your life, it's okay to take a step back and say, you know what, I don't really know what's going on with them.
Mhm.
I'm going to extend grace. I'm going to extend the benefit of the doubt that it's probably not me.
Mhm.
It's affecting me. It's not about me.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to be kind and gracious and, maybe not bite their head off or
Mhm.
be aggressive. Just, I'm going to de escalate by just being kind and respectful.
Mhm.
Um,
So no
that's where I would
raising your
start.
voice,
Right,
no,
because then we're gonna
accusations or anything
right,
like that.
we're gonna work it up. Like we're gonna
Mhm.
escalate the situation to a place it doesn't need to go.
Mhm.
And that's just even a rule of thumb in relationship. Like let's
Mhm.
start soft.
Mhm.
Let's not start out with force and hey, you're not going to talk to me that way.
Mhm.
That is the opposite of extending grace.
Mhm.
Thinking of it in a way that, how would I want somebody to approach me?
Mhm.
If I'm having a bad day, if something's going on and I'm just not taking control the way I should,
Mhm.
because yes, I'm responsible for me. And even if I'm
Mhm.
having a bad day, it is up to me to rein it in and be professional or appropriate.
Mhm.
However, we don't always do that.
Mhm.
And so I would want someone to meet me that way.
Mhm.
Keep it cool, not escalate things. I'm certainly aware that I'm not handling myself well and probably I'll come back and apologize. But
Mhm.
there's no need to use force just because I'm angry.
Mhm.
Kind of the basic sense of that is just because they're out of control doesn't mean I get to be out of control.
Mhm.
They're not appropriately taking in their emotions or what's going on with them and handling themselves well does not mean that I get to meet them there
Mhm.
because now we're both in the wrong.
Mhm.
So that's a snippet of just kind of you would handle a random person, someone you're probably not going to encounter
Mhm.
again.
So
But
if
that
you work
same rule would apply.
retail, if you work
Mm-hmm.
in food and
Sure.
beverage, that would be a good way to be like, you
Sure.
know what, they're having a bad day. It's not
Yeah.
about me.
Right. And even somebody that, you're initially starting off with, a new coworker, a new business person, like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to, come in soft. However, we are now going to move into like escalation. So what if this is not a one-off? What if this
Mhm.
is
You are stuck
this
with
is a person
them.
in my life, this is somebody I'm choosing to work with or whatever, and this becomes the regular. So
Mhm.
I wanted to start there just to give those basics and then build.
Mhm.
So let's say now we're moving into an arena that this is somebody that I know is just difficult.
Yes.
Their personality, my personality doesn't mix,
Mhm.
or there's just stuff going on in their life that they're not addressing appropriately, and they are
Mhm.
just difficult to be around.
Well, there's
Um,
personality traits too.
yes.
There's a lot of people who are never wrong. They're
Mm-hmm.
always right. If
Mm-hmm.
there is a problem, it's somebody else's fault. Hypercritical. Like those are personality traits that just kind of exist
Sure.
sometimes with some people.
Yeah.
And I don't think, as adults, those are probably going to be things that they really change after a
Absolutely.
certain point.
Yeah. And so if we take that same kind of concept that I was talking through before, um, with that person that you just met, like extending grace, now we're moving into, okay, I've extended grace. However, I'm realizing now that I'm getting to know you
Mm-hmm.
that this is something that I find myself doing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself having to regularly kind of extend that grace or be understanding or kind of guard myself when I'm going in interactions with you. So that's something else.
Mm-hmm.
This is now how do I maintain myself in a relationship with this person?
Mm-hmm.
Because the basic sense is that I can't control anyone other than myself.
Mm-hmm. Which is
And
true.
so, right, I can't control the fact that you are abrasive or you always seem to know all the answers and things that are really rubbing me. I can't change that about you, but I can only change and address things in myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's being mindful of approaching that person with some things that I'll talk through and just being very aware of it so that you're not just kind of mindlessly encountering them and then wondering why you're so upset.
Mm-hmm.
You need to kind of approach that person a certain way for your sake to be protecting you, but also to try to have the best interaction with them as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I can control me, but I can't control you.
Mm-hmm.
I can only control part of the interaction, but, they're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So it's
And
keeping in
you
mind.
don't want to make yourself look bad
Right.
in the process because there's always other people around.
Exactly. So it's remembering who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
That phrase is something I say all of the time because just as people, we tend to look through the world through our lens
Mm-hmm.
and assume that you're doing the same, that you see the world the way I do,
Mm-hmm.
that you think the way I do, you process the way I do,
Mm-hmm.
your temperament and
That's
personality
true.
is the way that mine is.
Mm-hmm.
And so people constantly, communicate as though they're talking to themselves, but they're in
Mm-hmm.
fact not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's slowing down and remembering, okay, I'm about to go to this family function, or I'm about to have this meeting with this person. I'm going to interact with this person
Mm-hmm.
that traditionally sets me on edge, gets under my skin, gets on my nerves. So I'm not going to just blindly walk in and hope that today is the day that they've had a complete personality change and they do everything the way I want them to. No, I'm expecting you to be you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to go in taking a deep breath, remembering I'm not talking to me, I'm talking to you, and then kind of using some of these skills that I'm going to talk through next. So it's really remembering that I can be in control of my tone of voice,
Mm-hmm.
and really being aware of the boundaries that you want to set going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So again, people like that tend to, in the general sense, not respect boundaries or not,
Mm-hmm.
they may have a clear, defined set, but they don't respect yours.
Mm-hmm.
That's typically something I see of, that kind of, oh, this is a really difficult person to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, I'm going to find because they're not respecting your boundaries, they're not being respectful in that sense, and so you're really feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you might feel if someone's consistently getting in your personal space, you're feeling agitated,
Mm-hmm.
back off, like give me
Mm-hmm.
some space. People can do that emotionally and in other ways
Mm-hmm.
that has you still feeling that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're feeling those feelings, that's an indicator I'm dealing with a difficult person,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to kind of think through what boundaries I want to set
Mm-hmm.
and
And
make sure I
sometimes
abide
it's
by.
not what people do. Sometimes it's what people don't do.
Mm-hmm.
I recently had an experience with a painter who would refuse to respond to my
Mm-hmm.
emails or text messages. We were trying to work through the process, and I knew she didn't want to work with me. I don't know why. It was kind of like that right out of the gate. But, I was still trying my best. I would send her the information that she asked for, and then she would never respond and try and throw me under the bus and say, oh, well, I never received it. So it's not always
Sure.
people doing things to you.
Right.
Sometimes it's people just completely icing you out
Right.
when you really do need to be in contact with them for something.
Right. So that would also be disrespecting your boundaries, or
Mhm.
another what I could say would be expectations.
Mhm.
I think it's best to really lay out with the person that you're dealing with what you expect of them
Mhm.
and what you're going to bring to the table as well.
Mhm.
This can be relational, this can be professional.
Mhm. No, and that
You're
is
making it very
amazing.
clear.
That's what we do before any project we start. Even if it's one of our best clients, just
Mhm.
so that we're all on the same page
Right.
and we know timeline, budget, scope of project, final deliverables, because miscommunication causes huge problems in
Yes.
business relationships. So we're always very cognizant we do that, even
Right.
if we are getting along. So especially if you're struggling
Mm-hmm.
to work with somebody, that's even better to do, even if it's uncomfortable.
Sure. And that's just the thing. Miscommunication is a problem in all the areas. I mean,
Mhm.
just when you're dealing with people, again, because I'm expecting you are thinking, hearing the way I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're already off to the wrong foot, off to a difficult start if I'm doing that. So again, back it up. Who am I talking to? Traditionally, what do I know about them to know how they respond to things?
Mm-hmm.
Do they just want bullet point information? Do they like more detail? And really kind of trying to meet them where they are. I'm not expecting you to elevate yourself to where I am.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to just meet you where you are and go from there. Being very clear about expectations. This is what I expect our interactions to be like. Even more specific what you want from them if you're doing a job together or whatever. You're just clearly defining your boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
your expectations. If you think about setting up a fence or setting up a wall of some kind, we're very aware of where we're not going,
Mm-hmm.
and then what space do we have to work inside.
Mm-hmm.
some people who you get along with and you really enjoy, there's more space.
Mhm.
There's more space to move around. But with somebody who's very difficult or takes a lot of energy to be around, it's probably going to be a smaller space, and you just
Mhm.
very much define this is what we're doing in that space.
Mhm.
And so with a business person or that painter or even a relationship, family, like you kind of go step by step that, you know what, last time we talked about politics, that didn't go well.
Mhm.
And I think it's pretty clear that that's not something that we need to be talking about.
Mhm.
We're just going to respect each other to say, let's not even bring that up.
Mhm.
And so we're very much defining what's on the other side of that boundary,
Mhm.
and we're not going to go into those waters. Why? I mean, why
Yeah,
continue to beat
it
your,
doesn't end well.
yeah, like let's not set ourselves up for failure in that. We just know that we don't
Mhm.
see on, eye to eye. And for whatever reason, we're not willing to understand the other person's point of view. So
Mhm.
let's just not go there.
Mhm.
With a business person, an employee, or a coworker is the word I was looking for. A coworker, you know what? We're going to keep it professional.
Yeah.
That boundary says that on the other side of that boundary, where we're not going is you're not going to get to know personal things about me.
Mhm.
You can't handle that information. I don't want you to have it. So on the inside of that, we're keeping it professional. The boundary is we're talking about work, we're talking about projects. I'll be respectful when I do so.
Mhm.
We're not going outside of that.
Mhm.
Now, typically these people will really start to push and press on that line.
Yeah.
You've set it up, you've made it clear what you want, what you don't want,
Mhm.
and typically difficult people tend to push them
Yeah.
because, well, how serious are you?
Mhm.
And, I don't know about that. Again, like I said, that's typically a telltale sign when I start to feel frustrated. I'm dealing with a difficult person. It's probably because they're not super respectful
Mhm.
of social cues or people's boundaries, whatever they
Mhm.
may be. And so typically you will find this person or these people start to really see how firm you are.
Mhm.
That is very taxing, but it's good to know.
Yeah.
If I know ahead of time that by setting up this boundary or these expectations, I'm probably going to get pushed,
Mhm.
I'm ready for it.
Mhm. So if you
Again, so
set a
when I go
boundary,
into,
you kind of have to be ready to defend
yes,
that
you do.
boundary and say, no, actually,
Right.
I meant what I said. This is what we're
Mhm.
doing.
Absolutely. Because the moment you set up a boundary but you don't keep it,
Mm-hmm.
you've really lost some ground.
Mm-hmm.
So this person now knows that you're not a person of your word,
Yeah.
that you'll say one thing but you might do something else.
Mm-hmm. And you
And
can be pushed around.
yes, and it just really can become a disaster
Mm-hmm.
because the next time you set a boundary, you have to doubly, like almost really reinforce it in a way that's like, no, I'm really serious this time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be more firm. And it's just kind of a lot of energy and a lot of work to do. So before you set it, make sure that you're able to defend it
Mm-hmm.
and then make sure that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think it's very helpful to be aware of this.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I know ahead of time, I'm not surprised when you push it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised when I start to feel like, okay, here you are testing that boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an example. If I say to somebody I'm working with, these are my available hours, and I don't mean me as a therapist because that's a different story, but
Mm-hmm.
just me as
In
a
general.
working person.
Yeah.
I can be reached from this time to this time, and let's say, I say I can't be reached before 8 and I can't be reached after 6.
Mm-hmm.
This person's going to call you outside of that time,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's a couple minutes, because it's not that they need you at that time,
Mm-hmm.
it's that they're testing you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are you really only available? The moment you answer the phone or respond to a text message or email outside of that boundary,
Mm-hmm.
you've told them you can probably push some things and get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not talking about emergencies. We all know things like that happen.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying in the general sense, something that could wait, make it wait.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have, I have the time, Sarah, I could answer. It is very important you do not, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not about the response, it's about the boundary.
Yeah.
And people who are difficult, traditionally, they are very firm on their boundaries. They're not
Mhm.
responding to you,
Mm-hmm.
when they say they're not going to, but they expect you to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to remind them who they're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
that you also are somebody who has boundaries. You also respect yourself and your boundaries, and you're not stepping outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just kind of a picture or an example of what I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
that you want to be very clear with what your expectation, what your boundary is, and then hold that line. At first, it's going to be a lot of energy because they're like, well, but are you serious?
I love the well
Once,
buts.
yes, and once they find, man, every time I push on that, it doesn't go anywhere. I mean, I'm getting annoyed, I'm getting frustrated, I'm getting tired. That, man, this person's not budging. They will back down. It's like I'm going to put a lot of energy in it first. Eventually, they'll back down. Most of the time, I know that there are people out there who just aren't that way.
Don't,
But
yeah.
eventually, they'll be like, well, this is annoying. I keep hitting a brick wall. I don't want to keep doing it. I'll just knock on the door and wait for you to open it.
Or
And
you
then,
just train them, listen, I actually meant what I said.
Sure.
You can call me at 6:30 and you can leave a message. And I
Exactly.
will get back to you tomorrow
Exactly.
during my available hours, which I have previously mentioned unto you.
Sure. And so most of the time with most people, this works. Like you can stop where I just left you. Most of the time people will be like, okay, they don't like being uncomfortable. They don't like being called out. I was in a situation recently in a relationship setting that somebody really raised their voice to me in a public place and used language I wasn't comfortable with. And I said, you're not going to talk to me that way. And if you continue, I will be leaving.
Do I
They
need
were
to cut them?
astonished. No, we are not in each other's lives anymore.
Okay.
But because that boundary crossed and
Yeah.
it wasn't, they were not respecting that boundary, it continued.
Mhm.
And I said, no, I'm not kidding. I will leave. Well, that made them uncomfortable because who wants to create a scene?
Yeah.
They were creating a scene. I let them know I'm not continuing this. If you want to speak to me, you're going to speak to me in a certain voice and you're not going to call me names. They backed down. And we were able to have a conversation, not the way I would have liked because they just couldn't hear what I was saying. But I de-escalated that by saying, you're crossing a line and I will not stay here if you're going to cross that line. And that's kind of in a relationship sense, that boundary. We're not talking about politics. So here we are around family dinner table, whatever holiday, whatever reason we're together. And
That
so
applies
starts
to
bringing up,
just about everybody.
right. And so someone starts bringing up politics and you just, gently maybe raise your hands a little bit and say, hey, remember we talked about this? This is not something I'm comfortable with. Someone who's respectful will be like, you're right. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. Let's talk about something else. Somebody who is not going to respect that boundary, like we were just talking about, they're going to push it. You have to shut it down. If they're going to no, we're going to keep talking about it. Unfortunately, you're the one that removes yourself from the situation. I said I wasn't comfortable. I'm reminding you I'm not comfortable and you're going to keep going, which means the only thing I can do is remove myself from the situation. I can appreciate that's awkward depending on your personality type. You might be like sitting here listening to my voice going, oh gosh, I can't do
I
that.
don't
And
want
other
to get
people,
up and leave somebody at a restaurant.
other people are like, yep, no problem. So I'm saying to you though, it's very important because again, you're saying you're going to treat me a certain way. Just kind of picking up from what I talked about the last podcast, the understanding that I have is that everyone is important. You're important. I'm important. People listening to our voices right now are important. So if you are uncomfortable, that matters. If you're feeling that they're violating your boundary and disrespecting you, that matters. And you have to have your own back by saying, no, we're not doing this. It's okay to say no. And to reinforce that I'm now removing myself, that lets the other person and really everyone at that table know you're not kidding, that this is not going to happen again. So people generally, about one time of that, a couple times of being left sitting at a table or abruptly ending a conversation or holding that line, they go out, okay, I do not want to do that again. And so we're going to not do that again.
Yeah.
I'm now going to move us to that last person that just does not care. So what to do with, we're kind of moving up the chain of kind of the difficult levels. So now the last person I'm going to talk about is the person that doesn't care. They will cross your boundary every time. They don't care that it's making you uncomfortable. They don't care that they were made uncomfortable. Probably they weren't. Probably this person, you got up and left them sitting at the table in a restaurant, and they, instead of blushing, look around and say, "Wow, what a loon! Can you believe?"
It's your fault.
Yeah, their narrative to themselves and everyone around them is, "Can you believe that that person. Can you believe that? And they'll probably say some things about you, and they'll have some things to say because their narrative is, well, it's not me. And that, my friends, is a difficult person. That's somebody that is not going to change, that they have really dug in and this is who they are.
Can that
And that
cross over
person,
into narcissism too,
oh,
if
sure.
it's everybody else's fault?
Sure. It's definitely, I mean, yes, I'm not going to say for sure that person is, but you're definitely getting into those waters and might possibly be dealing with that person. And so if you know, you set that line and you hold that line, first of all, I'm applauding you. That takes a lot of work. But that's just having your own back and saying, I matter and this matters. And so lastly, this person is probably somebody that cannot continue in your life. I have a whole talk in therapy about levels of intimacy and who belongs in your life and who doesn't and where should they belong. This person would be somebody that if they're in your life and have to be at all, they are on the outermost fringes. Like if you think of the most intimate person in your life that you trust completely, then there are people on the outskirts of your life that are acquaintances, coworkers. They know your name, they know maybe some things about you, but that's about it.
So very
If this
surface.
person, yes, if this person has to be in your life because of who they are, or you're choosing to say, you know what, they're difficult, but they're a family member, I love them, I'm not going to get rid of them, I'm not cutting them out. I would push them all the way back out to, you're going to know some things about me, but not a lot of things about me. Again, that's that I'm shrinking the space of what you're allowed to know and how you're allowed to interact with me and not. So if they have to stay in your life, I would do that. But some of these people can go. I just got done talking about somebody that I said, no, I'm not doing this. They weren't respecting the boundary. They were not understanding my boundary. They were the person that said, wow, that was you. And when we would have conflict, it would always be me holding the bag. And I said, well, I'm not doing that. And I cut this person out of my life. If you know me at all, you know that never
Not
happens.
really the way you do it. That's me.
right.
That's totally me. Like if I meet you once and you get crappy with me, maybe you get another chance, like depending on the situation
Sure.
around it, but you may not, because my personal opinion is, you know, when you first meet someone, you're on your best behavior. I think pretty much everybody can agree to that.
Sure.
You know, like I'm trying to be, hello, how are you? How's your family? Do you have dogs? Like, you know, you try to keep it light and fluffy. And if somebody comes in, you know, like a freight train, is like, that's probably not somebody I want to hang out with. And I'm also an intuitive empath, so I have like some
Sure.
help with that. So I'm okay way back in the beginning being like, you know what, this is probably not somebody that I really want to hang out with very often. But I
Sure.
know a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing that.
Right.
A lot of people want to make excuses because they don't want to have to stand up to other
Right.
people.
Yeah.
But at the end, it's really worth it because some of those people just bring drama and stress. And if you're the type of person who emotionally internalizes things, they can make you feel bad about yourself,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, especially, you know, the more extreme versions of them. If they're telling you that everything is your fault, that's how abusive people can
Right.
continue to abuse people, whether it's a romantic relationship or a business relationship. I've actually had a guest on before who has a lot of abuse in a business relationship. We talked a little bit about that. You know, that's not okay. And by allowing that and feeling bad about yourself because of the blame that other person's putting on you, it can really wreck your well-being
Right.
and your outlook on life. So even though it sounds scary, it's really important. And like you said, you know, we're all worth being happy and being
Yes.
fulfilled. And those people, whether you want to think about it or not, can really get in the way of that.
Oh, yeah. Because the thing of it is, life is hard enough.
Yes.
There are things going on that you cannot control. Who you have in your life is something you can control. Who you surround yourself with does matter, and that is something you can control. Now, again, I know that there are circumstances of, well, you know, but this person I can't just kick out of my life for X, Y reason. I get that. And then you take control by, you know, minimizing contact, or what do we talk about? We might just reduce it to 3 topics. Yeah, you're going to be in my life, but you're not going to be in my life in a
Yeah.
deep sense.
Yeah.
And then there are people that you just have to remove.
Mm-hmm.
So I am that golden retriever, very loyal. You're in my life. You're probably going to be there. So the fact that I remove this person speaks
That's
to
huge.
it's that third person that it's not going to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no movement. I'm inviting you to the table to compromise, to kind of hear from me, and I'm going to hear from you. But if you're not going to do that, then I can't
Then
help
I'm
it.
inviting you to leave.
Correct. Like I can't now do anything other than say, well, okay then, because I'm not going to change me, and I'm not going to change those boundaries and those expectations because that's important and it matters. And so now we're just talking about, okay, well, we're going to part ways, and that can be uncomfortable and that can be messy. It's worth it. I can attest to that. I mean, it's so worth it to say, yeah, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think just some signs that you mentioned that I know have been very true in my life of I'm making excuses for them. That's an immediate red flag. Why am I making excuses for this person?
Yeah.
This person that I'm talking about, I did that with. I wasn't really aware of it until things started to kind of get dysfunctional and heat up. And I'm like, why am I excusing their behavior to other people?
Yeah.
That's a flag. That's an indicator that I'm dealing with a difficult person, and I need to really pay attention to why I'm dismissing this. And Jessica, you made a really good point. It's probably because I don't want to have to do the work of having that confrontation. That was the worst confrontation I've ever had. I don't love confrontation, but I'll do it, and I'll do it very soft and very respectfully. This escalated to a point where I've never, ever had that level of confrontation.
Yeah.
And that's also an indicator that I'm probably dealing with that third person, that this is who they are. And since I'm not okay with that and they're not going to change, we're done here.
Yeah.
And, you maintain you throughout. I didn't yell back. I didn't call her names. I, in fact, got very quiet. My voice did not move. I mean, I was very, very calm on the outside and invited her to de-escalate, which didn't happen. So to people listening to this about like, well, what if it's uncomfortable and, what do I do? Like, you don't have to yell back. You don't have to, just as I started off today saying, you don't have to meet them where they are because that's just getting it escalated and making
you want
it
to
harder.
maintain yourself. You want to be true to yourself. If you are not a yelling type,
Right.
then you shouldn't make that other person force you
Sure.
to be the yelling type.
Yeah. And so I'm not going to escalate. I'm not going to get loud, even if the other person isn't yelling, but they're just pushing. They're just, maybe invalidating you. I can't believe you would feel that way. Are you serious? Why are you doing this? Why are you basically the way that you are? I mean, they may not be getting loud, but they're definitely getting
Undercutting you.
Yeah, they're pushing you. And that's going to make you really decide, is this going to be a boundary that I hold or not? What they're trying to do is to get you to lower it. They're trying to get you to question yourself and be like, well, do I really want to hold this line? And that's why before you set it, you've got to know. You want to have a very clear why before you set it, so that when this person pushes it, when they're like, well, are you sure? Are you serious? I mean, I responded right back, yes, I am serious. I will leave. I am so serious that you're not going to talk to me this way. There's no negotiating that. And so you have to know why, because when it gets pushed, especially in the heat of the moment or emotions are involved, you've got to know, yeah, I'm not kidding. And yeah, this isn't unreasonable. You're being unreasonable. And so I'm going to back out. And I just say to people, that third person does exist. They are around us. We prefer it to be something very small. If they were having a bad day, it's fine.
Yeah.
We prefer it to be, okay, I just need to be very clear with you about my boundaries. I'm going to hold them, and you're going to come on board and say, okay, well, this is what we're doing now. Unfortunately, you're still going to have those other people that are on lockdown, and they're not going to change. They're not flexible at all, and they're not going to respect anything that you have to say or any line that you have to draw. And you have to know it's okay to leave that person. It's okay to say, you don't have a place in my life, because it's good for them to actually experience people holding that line, and it's good for you to respect yourself enough to hold that line. Now, again, if they have to be in your life for some reason, just be very careful when you're around them. Be aware of who you're talking to. kind of going back to that point, be aware that this person only sees things from their point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware that it's not going to be productive to have debates
Mm-hmm.
or, explain to them where you're coming from. They can't and won't hear it. And knowing when it's time to remove that person from your life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had professional people that were this way that I am no longer working with. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's being able to say enough is enough.
Yeah.
I've invited you into healthy
Mm-hmm.
and into, how we can interact. If you're choosing not to do that, that's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, this isn't me. This isn't me being mean. This isn't me being inappropriate. This person's choosing to not abide by my boundaries and expectations. That's a choice they made. I'm now just following out a choice you made.
Mm-hmm.
There are consequences. So I've made it very clear of what I need and want from you. You're choosing not to abide by that. So I'm just going to take my cue from you then, who's choosing not to be respectful, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave. They're going to make it about you. It's not about you. You invited them to the table, invited them to be respectful. They're choosing not to be. So you know what? You pack up your stuff and you go.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, well, that was a choice that you made, and I'm just simply walking out those consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And friends, that leaves you open to the good people.
Yeah.
When you pluck out that toxin from your life, you clear the air, you do what you got to do, and that leaves space for people who are going to have your back, who are
Mm-hmm.
going to be respectful, who are trustworthy, to have place and real estate in your life. You want those people. So just think about it maybe that way. That might be helpful for some of you that don't immediately leap to, yeah, let me have this confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember that moves people out so somebody better, healthier,
Can
more
move
appropriate
in.
can move in.
Yeah. No, I think those are all really, really good tips because, we may not deal with this on a daily basis, but
Mhm.
we all deal with this in some form on, a weekly, bi-weekly basis.
Mhm.
So, it's easy to walk away from those people that we just see one-off, interactions at a store or a coffee
Mhm.
shop, but the people you have to be around regularly,
Sure.
neighbors, family, coworkers, that makes it a little bit more difficult. So, if you could leave everyone with one thought to kind of sum up what we've talked about
Mhm.
today, what would that be?
Sure. The thought that was coming to my mind that I really wanted to reinforce, just because I talk about it a lot, these people who are difficult, they have a story.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why. And I'm not asking you to dismiss their behavior because of that, but people are
Mhm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone has a reason for being the way that they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to remind the person who is having to set this boundary, who's dealing with a difficult person, this isn't about you.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't, am I just really difficult to get along with? Well, maybe I deserve this, or maybe there's something about me. Oftentimes, people who are difficult, depending on the level of difficult,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to turn it on you
Mm-hmm.
and really, you're being unreasonable. There's this term gaslighting where they're going to make you think that you're the
Yep.
problem. And so I really want you to hear loud and clear, it's not about you. It is affecting you.
Yes.
And that phrase is really key and really important that I want people to hold on to. It's not about you, anything you're doing wrong, or even the fact that you have boundaries. Good for you. That's
Mhm.
amazing.
Mhm.
You need them. We all need them. It's not about you. It is affecting you. And so it's taking that lens that says, okay, what do I need to do to protect myself,
Mhm.
to take control of my environment? Understanding that I'm not going to personalize this.
Mhm.
When you personalize it, it really starts to shift the game that I start to let you do things
Mhm.
because I feel bad, because I probably said something and I'm whatever. It starts to
Mhm.
just spiral downwards
Mhm.
where it starts to become a complete mess.
Mhm. Well,
I'm
that can
not,
start to become abuse that
it
way
does,
too. Like
yes.
you can be in an abusive relationship even if it's not romantic.
Oh, yeah, plenty of times, yes.
Mhm.
And so it's just really paying attention to this isn't about me. It is affecting me, and it is
Mhm.
affecting you. So I'm validating that. Those feelings you have of frustration, they're very real. And
Mhm.
that's cluing you into the fact that you need to start dealing with this person, a certain way and really be going through all those steps that we talked about, but don't personalize it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it about you.
Mm-hmm.
There is, of course, with anything, a healthy and appropriate level of self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Is there
Can
anything
the
I could have done?
difficult person self-reflect and say, oh, maybe I'm being difficult?
It's really just the person. Some people
Mm-hmm.
can, some people won't. Some people just are blissfully unaware of how they're affecting other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when
So it's
you
not
clue them
necessarily
into
malicious.
it, right, that's that
Okay.
third person.
Okay,
The
the third
middle
person is
person,
malicious. The
right,
middle person is just kind of maybe unaware that they're being abrasive
sure,
or not picking up on social cues to
right,
know that they're offending someone
right.
or
The third
whatever.
person is, I don't care, this is a you problem, not a me problem.
Mm-hmm.
The middle person, that second person that we see more often, that you're probably living your life with right
Mm-hmm.
now, this is a person that just didn't know. Again, because I'm not you, so I can't just
Mm-hmm.
know how you're feeling.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I wasn't aware. They might be a little bit like, but I want to talk about politics, or,
Mm-hmm.
but I want this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not always about you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's having that conversation, negotiating what we can and can't do, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate between us.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't with everyone, but like when you're talking to me, I'm going to need you to not use this language. Or when you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to me, I need you to remember we can't talk about this one topic. It doesn't end well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, talk to me. And we're going to have ground rules and boundaries for our relationship
Mm-hmm.
and what that looks like. Or if you want to expand it to household, if you're in charge of your household, what that family system looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But really, those people just need to be made aware and let them know that you're serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is that line. And those people then are aware and can self-reflect and be like, wow, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. What is it about me that made you feel that way? Blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
If they're willing to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can't control that.
Mm-hmm.
The third person is really just, nope, it's never me.
Yep.
And you can't do anything with that. I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
person is just very hard to live with
Yeah.
and live around.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that middle ground of, let me just make you aware of my boundaries. Maybe you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
How could I expect you to know how I feel and think if I'm not going to tell you?
Yeah.
So I'm just letting you know, making you aware, and then we're going to live inside that space. I mean, I could go on from here about how to grow that space, as they earn trust and different things,
Mm-hmm.
but that's probably another day. But this is just the general sense of you matter.
Mm-hmm.
Your feelings matter. If you're uncomfortable with somebody, pay attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
Your emotions are telling you things. They teach you things to pay attention to. And then we're going to start being aware, having those boundaries, communicating expectations, and walking that out.
Yeah. Well, I think that sounds amazing. We've covered all the bases I wanted to talk about today. So hopefully you've been able to pick up something in our chat with Sarah today that can give you some real life relief if you have to deal with one of these people on a daily basis, whether it's the middle person or that third tier, most difficult person. So again, if you would like to reach out to Sarah, her info is included in the link. And we will see you next time. This has been The Visionista.